Welcome to another episode of Home Sweet Home. My name is Rod McCall.
And I'm Scott Nichols. All right, so quick question for you.
Okay.
I like how you say that all the time. So
yeah, I know. It's kind of nice to have you ask me a question.
Be on the other side, right?
Yeah.
Where do you feel like time is slipping through your fingers right now? Like in work or marriage or kids? You know, I know that your kids in your marriage are kind of grown up.
Yes.
Just same as mine. So, or we can think back, of course, or just life in general, right? Because I feel like most guys, most people, most adults, you know, we just don't always say out loud like where things are slipping through.
Well, I will tell you, I'll share a story with you. I see clients, mostly I cut off at 11. Mm-hmm. I don't see clients below 11. But I have a client that he's 9 years old, and I went below my 11 simply because it's a divorce issue. Mm-hmm. And since that is kind of my bailiwick, I said, okay, no worries. So I thought, well, in chatting with some of my other colleagues that they do see these younger kids, they were talking about, well, they sit on the floor, they play games on the floor, this, that, and the other.
Sure.
And I thought, okay, well, we'll give that a try.
Right.
So I get down on the floor, and he's on the floor, I'm on the floor, and that's pretty much where we spent our session. Mm-hmm. Well, then came getting back up off the floor and then trying to walk.
I have been picturing this since you said you sit on the floor.
Wow. So I will tell you that I think I'm starting to notice that time is slipping away with how my body is no longer as flexible, as nimble, as accommodating as when I was a few years younger, because
sure.
I've crossed the 55 line, and it is, so I would say that I see that, but I think maybe something more specific than that. I see it, I am not always the best user of my time.
Okay.
As I am working on building my client base, a person who I have great respect for said, if you're not working in your business, you should be working on your business.
Yeah.
Which I take as doing reading, watching videos to get better at your craft.
Right.
Well, I watch videos, but they aren't necessarily ones getting better.
Sure.
So I guess I'm probably not using my time most effectively when it comes to getting more skilled and honing my craft as a professional counselor.
Yeah. I would agree, right? Like for me, and I think probably most people have this issue, particularly with social media. And this isn't a podcast about social media at this point, but you know, we all get caught in the trap, right? I mean, I watched a video this morning, I think 5 times about, you know, just incredible Major League Baseball like pitches.
Oh yeah.
That just hit things that was like a 1 in a million shot.
Okay.
So, you know, but why did I watch it 5 times? Like I saw it once. Why did I have to watch it again and again and again and again? And then I showed it to my wife and I showed it to my daughter and you could just send them to people, but I had to show it too.
Right.
And so, you know, like that's a time killer. Definitely.
Okay.
And so I agree, right? Like I think for me, like exercise is the thing that I give up. And that would have helped you get up off the floor, right? So that's my issue too. I can't imagine getting on the floor.
Well, why do you ask?
So, but I'm curious, right? Because I read some books at the beginning of this year.
Okay.
Really, that were about time.
Oh.
And I teach economics.
Right.
And so at the beginning of the course, we talk about, you know, scarcity and choices. And one of the things that's scarce for everybody is time.
Oh, very true.
And so we always have to make choices. We make like 1,000 choices a day, and probably most of them are related to time.
Okay.
You know, what am I going to do? What am I going to, you know, where am I going to eat? How am I going to get there? You know, just all kinds of things that are related to trying to squeeze things in to our lives. And I think that, you know, I just thought it would be interesting to talk about time a little bit.
Okay.
And see what what we're thinking about that. So, I was thinking, like, when do you feel like time is too fast in your life?
It's one of those things. When you're dreading something, time both speeds up and slows down.
Mm-hmm.
When you're doing something very pleasant and enjoyable, it feels like it goes super fast.
Yeah.
Visiting with friends, visiting with family, I feel like time just rockets by.
Yeah.
But when you're dreading something, sometimes it feels like the time speeds up super fast then too, because you're trying to delay it, you're trying to postpone it,
mm-hmm.
and it's almost like you watch, like a cartoon, and the clock just spins. So
right, yeah, I agree. Like, it's always when I'm doing something fun, I like to go to Disney World, so
yeah,
sometimes we drive to Florida, right?
Okay,
and that's enjoyable, but it'll take me 2 days to drive there. And then we might spend 4 or 5 days there and then drive back. But the 4 or 5 days there seems way faster than the 2 days each way, right? Like,
sure.
So I wish that, maybe there's some way we could slow time down or spend our time differently so that we could enjoy it more. Well, I'm not sure what that looks like, but
I think Doc Brown and Marty McFly have a solution.
There you go. We'll get a flux capacitor.
Yes.
I agree. We were talking about things that steal time, right? Like watching videos.
Yeah, I find that when I'm an avoidant sometimes, and I will find that I will play a video game.
Right.
And I will get involved, and I know I should be doing a bunch of other stuff.
Right.
But I'm going, I don't want to. And so I'll just play a video game on my computer and avoid that kind of stuff, which I'm not sure always makes.
Is it really avoidance or procrastination, or is it just a stress reliever?
I argue it's a stress reliever.
Okay.
I think that Sherry would maybe disagree that it is more avoidance.
Sure.
And so mostly because it's, if I don't do it, she has to. And, like taking down the Christmas decorations.
Mm-hmm.
That is. So I've been trying to be more cognizant of using my time to be more helpful. But I don't think I'm anywhere close to doing it.
Yeah. I mean, I do the same thing. Over the past couple of years, I've spent lots of time working on a master's degree and certifications and things, which I've achieved.
Yes, by the way, congratulations. Yeah, well done.
Thank you. But, in achieving that, my wife is actually doing the same thing, and she's not done. And so, I'm pretty cognizant as well of, things that I could do to help out her.
Sure.
To give her more time now that I have a ton of time.
Okay. Yeah.
Because I have a lot more time. And that's part of where I was going with this too, because, my program ended, my certification ended, and all of a sudden the, 4 or 5 hours a day I might have spent on those things, I don't spend that on those things. And I have to think about, and this is the economic choice right now, what do I do with that time? What do I do that might be beneficial, not necessarily about money or any of that kind of stuff, but like beneficial to me and my family?
I would use another economic term with my students is, that opportunity cost.
Right.
If you're choosing to use your time to do this, then you're not using your time to do that. So you kind of choose your time wisely, because despite our insistence otherwise, there is a lot of science that says that you really are not able to multitask. You may be doing multiple things at once, but you're not doing them at optimum efficiency.
Right.
And so, I guess, like you're saying, kids would always come to me, and I'm sure you get the same response. Well, I just didn't have time to do my homework. And I'm going, okay. Well, because I had to work, and I had practice, and I had this, and I had that. And I'm going, okay.
Right.
That's fine. Just understand that you made these choices. Now you're going to have to live with the results of those choices. And, I hear you. I don't disagree with you. I'm sorry for your massive use of your limited time, but again,
right. Well, I mean, in my course, I spend a whole day, a whole class period, 90 minutes talking about just that, right? Trade-offs and opportunity cost. And I have the students think about their own choices and things they've done. The interesting thing about it is that it's never really wrong.
Oh, no.
It's just a choice that individual makes. Some other individual might make a different choice, but it has to do with your values, right? So you playing video games isn't the wrong choice. It's just the choice that you value at the moment.
And and when I'm doing that, I'm not, running the vacuum sweeper. I'm not doing more reading to better my craft. I'm not watching training videos on how to address a specific.
Sure. But as you said, it's a stress reliever. So that's the value in doing it, right? That's your.
Sure.
So
I mean, I could also get out and exercise more, but I prioritize sleep over exercise.
So, I was also thinking about, because I have more time, and I have a lot more time.
Isn't that weird? I know what you're saying, because when I finished my program, and I was done and I have a job, it's kind of like, well, dang, I got all this time.
Yeah.
And I'm not good with a lot of free time.
Sure.
The more demands on my time, the more efficient I tend to be.
Well, and because part of my program was a practicum that you have to actually do at work.
Yeah.
I also have more time at work. So I have more time at work. I have more time at home. I just have a bunch more time.
Okay.
And I have to think about, what am I going to do with that? And so those books that I was reading were kind of interesting, looking at that time. And then I was, starting my course up again and really focusing some more in on opportunity cost and things like that. That really got me thinking about it a couple weeks ago. So it's just, but then I got thinking about, like, what would you do? Like, if you had more time, like I do, and like you had, like, what would you do with that time? Would it be travel? Would it be doing day trips? Would you think about getting more together with friends? Is it about spending family time? Like, what would you do that would be beneficial with that time other than sleep?
If money was not the issue,
sure.
If I was lucky enough to be retired and I don't need to be, being a lottery winner, but,
right.
Where money was, not the deciding factor of do or not do.
Mm-hmm.
But I think I would love to be able to travel more, travel to see friends, travel to see some of the things that I've only read about in books or you've seen in movies, to be able to enjoy time just slowing down. It feels like when you're in your normal daily life, you're rushing to work, you're rushing home, you're cooking, you're cleaning, you're doing all this rush.
Mm-hmm.
When do you actually get the opportunity to lean back in the chair, take a few deep breaths, and appreciate all the wonderful things that life has to offer?
And I think that's a big thing, right? Like, I've noticed. So I will spend more time, use some of that time to spend, like, with my grandson.
Okay.
I try to spend it with my wife. Of course, she's very busy, so that's difficult. But at least I can spend it trying to help her by reducing other things that might stress her out, right? House cleaning, things like that. But, spending time with family, even when you're busy, right? So even when I was busy, my daughter would call me, my younger daughter, and say, Dad, I need some help with this. Like, can we do this today? And man, my schedule is loaded. But I was just like, you know what? We can. I'll just
rearrange a few things. We will do that.
Like, I didn't tell her what I was doing, but I would drop my entire schedule for the day and go take care of what she needed and do for her. And I think that's important, right? That builds the relationship. It builds the respect. She definitely appreciates what I do for her, even if she doesn't know what all the sacrifice of it might be.
Sure.
But I think those are important things, especially to do for family, right? To spend time with family that's quality. We've talked about 5 love languages before on the program, but that quality time, I think, is important to everyone at some level.
It's, I think your age helps influence your concept and understanding of time. I mean, you think about this. A lot of the kids that we work with or have worked with, well, they want to hurry up and grow up.
Yeah.
I want to be done with school. I want to live my life. I want.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, then you get into your 20s and 30s. Well, okay, I want my career. I want my money.
Sure.
I want the things that I dreamed of when I was a kid. So you bust your buns, climbing the corporate ladder and trying to acquire wealth. You usually in your 20s and 30s is when you get married, when hopefully you start having kids.
Yeah.
By the time you reach your mid to late 40s, you're thinking, okay, where are we at?
Yeah.
And by the time you get into your 50s, well, now you're thinking, okay, what's my next stage of life? I've been working. What am I going to do? We got a good friend that we worked with that is going, well, I want to retire, but I don't know what I want to do.
Right.
I don't want to just sit at home and, watch The Price is Right and eat, ice cream. So these questions begin to occupy our time.
Sure.
So I don't know. I think sometimes our understanding of what do we want to do with our time is heavily influenced by maybe our age.
And I think, but I think it's different for all kinds of people, right? I did it backwards, right? You just gave a nice list of how the normal people do it, right? I'm obviously not the normal people. My wife and I got married. I was a teenager, right? I was still 19. She was 20, and we had a baby right away, and we did the family thing, and we were poor as poor could be for a while. I worked my butt off to have some money, but we didn't really work on careers per se. We didn't do any of that till much later. And, we're reaping the benefits of doing that even later now. I mean, our kids are grown up by the time we were mid 40s, like we were on our own.
Yeah.
So that's nice, right? It's a flip from what most people do, but it benefited us, right? But even no matter what, like even in the busyness of life or doing career in your 20s, and maybe you end up having a kid, still focusing in on that family, I think is a real investment. Because you probably know divorce statistics better than I do, but like, what if you're just career driven and then there's a family involved? And I mean, do things get lost in that typically?
Oh, they can. I think so. I think, again, you keep coming back your use of time. And are you using your time to advance your career? Well,
right.
As you mentioned, where we talked a little bit a few minutes ago about opportunity cost, the time is finite. And if you use your time focused heavily over here, you're going to see that advance.
Right.
But it comes at a cost. So you don't get to see it advance in all the other areas you might like to. And so, again, it's a bit of a, what are you focused on? And I think that women have it worse than men.
Okay.
I feel like that there's a lot of double standards for women. Because, women need to have a career. Oh, but you need to be at home taking care of the babies.
Yeah.
And, women can do anything men can do. But, no, I don't know. I just feel like there's a lot of mixed messages.
There does seem to be quite a load there, particularly if the woman is taking on a career, right? Because if they're in a traditional kind of a marriage, then it would be, they're always often expected to do the dishes and clean the house, and take care of the kids and do all the things, which is, what I try to mitigate, right? It's easy for me because we don't have kids at home.
Yeah.
Right. And I have a lot of time, but, I always tried to make some intentionality and taking care of some things for my wife because she was working outside the house. There's lots of work inside the house too, though.
I think that's also, you mentioned, traditional marriage. I think the definition of a marriage has changed and evolved. And if you're still stuck with a 1900s, let's go early 19th century, early 20th century mindset of what a marriage is, then I think maybe you might have missed the boat a little bit, because I think that at least in our 21st century, 2026 world, I think you have to have both adults in that marriage working to be able to,
typically, yes.
Well, to be able to afford a place to live, a car to drive, groceries, and all the bare necessities, because all of those have skyrocketed. I don't want, we could make explanations as to why, but the fact is still the fact that it costs way more today and than it did 100 years ago.
Well, I mean, as an economics teacher, and you've taught it, right? Inflation's a thing. It's always going to be a thing. It's never going to go away.
Right.
So, yeah, things always get more. That's why people have to have some drive to make more money, right? To better their skills and their outcomes based on that. So that's always a thing. Now, we live in a place that there's a fair amount of people that are one income families because they have very high paying jobs, right? For that one person. And I envy that, right?
Yeah. Congratulations.
My wife envies that. I think she wishes I had a high paying job, but, suffice it to say that I think in whatever marriage type you have, I mean, you just have to have, both people have to be in agreement with how that marriage is going to play out.
Sure.
And what the roles are going to be.
I think so. And that comes back to stuff we've talked about as well in the past about communication and all of that. But I like, this idea of time and our use of time and our management of time. I think that's one of the biggest issues that we as a human can really struggle with. I think anyone that is able to manage their time effectively and efficiently,
right,
is somebody that I would love to emulate. That requires intention on my part to, maybe step away from, wasting time watching the TV tube or playing my video games. But like I say, I think that time management, I think there is so much out there. Books have been written, of which you've read some. Yeah. There's lots of TED Talks out there. People have made, there's a fortune by traveling around talking about how to better use your time. But I think that if you feel comfortable with how you're using your time, and if you go, oh, well, I could do better. If you want to do better, then do better. At the end of the day, we are ultimately in control.
Again, yeah, it's your choice, right?
Yeah.
What to do with that time. And it's not necessarily right or wrong. It's based on your values, right?
Yes.
What you value.
And sometimes we love to criticize ourselves. Well, I'm being super lazy. Well, yeah, okay, maybe you are, but is that your inner critic chastising you for taking a little bit of self-care? I mean, as you mentioned,
over the last break that I had, right, the winter break that we had at the end of 2025, I didn't do anything. It's the first break as a teacher that I have had. I think that I didn't do any work for my job. I didn't do any schoolwork for any kind of master's program. I did nothing. I read books. I mean, I didn't do anything else. And I there was a point along the way where I was like, I feel bad. I'm not being productive. And at the same time, I was like, but wait a minute, it's a break. And I should take a break.
How many times do we have vacation, but we don't always fully take advantage of our vacation because what's the point of vacation?
Right.
And I mean, everybody's different. I mean, I think I've shared this on more than one occasion, but Sherry and I, when we've gone on vacation, the type of job she has, even though we are on vacation, we were in Disney World down in Orlando, standing in line to ride one of the Avatar rides.
Yeah.
And we didn't get the fast pass on that particular ride, so it was like an hour wait.
That's not bad.
Oh, well, I thought it was
3 hours.
Anyway, so we're standing in line, and she's fielding text messages, responding to emails, and answering telephone calls, all job related, while we're standing in line at the happiest place on earth. And I'm going, you're on freaking vacation. Can't they call somebody else?
Sure.
And of course, the answer was, well, no, because, her position and all of that as the answer person, again. But I always love that excuse, because if it was 20 years ago,
or 30 years ago, that wouldn't have been an excuse, right? You wouldn't have had that connection. And I think that leads me to a question here, like what's one distraction you've made peace with just eliminating from your life?
Ooh, that's a good one.
So for me, I've really cut down on watching TV.
Okay.
I do watch some, right? Because my wife likes to relax. That's part of her relaxation. And so I sit down and I watch, a couple of episodes of whatever we're watching. But then I move to another space so that I can do some reading, because that's kind of what I want to do. So I've eliminated a lot of television watching, which for me, when I watch TV, I eat. And I eat whether I'm hungry or not.
Okay.
And so, because I just like the taste of things.
Sure.
And I'm bored. So,
okay.
But when I read, it's not as easy because you don't want to get your fingers messy when you're trying to flip pages in a book that you have to return to the library. So that's just, I am happy with eliminating a lot of television from my life.
I think that, that's a really good question. I don't know. I'm trying to reduce negativity.
Okay.
I don't know that, and I mean, that's kind of weird. I scroll through a lot. I'll be on Facebook. That's my primary social media platform. And I try and not pay attention. I like to watch Facebook Reels. Yeah. I am horribly addicted to that.
That's how I got stuck in the baseball one.
But I try and skip the negative posts.
Sure.
And I'm not 100% successful. I might be maybe 80% successful, because sometimes I'll fall into that quicksand trap.
Sure.
But I try and watch TV shows. I'm sorry to say that I will veg, but I want to watch shows that I find comedy are included, that they're entertaining.
Yes. I like to laugh.
I will say that I fell into that Stranger Things craze.
I have not, so don't give me any.
Okay, well, I won't. I'll just say that I thoroughly love the show.
Good.
Well,
we grew up in that time frame, so
yeah. I mean, anything dealing with the 80s, I'm that
there. Much I know.
Yeah, I know. But I like I say, I think that I try, again, to various levels of success, to cut out the negativity. In fact, it was kind of funny. The other day, Sherry was saying something, and I'm going, well, okay, but let's look at it from this point of view. Well, look at this perspective. She goes, what's wrong with you?
Yeah.
You're a super optimistic person. She goes, did you get replaced with somebody? Are you an alien?
Well, that's good, right? You're trying to do it, and she noticed.
And so
that's working.
Yeah.
That's good.
Because I think that for me, when I was feeling a lot of negativity, it was consuming. Right. And I would use a lot of time dwelling, pondering, stewing on negative issues. And it's why, I've stepped away from a lot. That's why I'm glad I do not teach government anymore. Sure. Because that I felt was really causing a lot of angst. I know
it's tough because you got to stay up on things.
Well, yeah. I think that, to answer your question specifically, I think that I'm using my time, the time that I am. What was even the question?
Right. So what's one distraction you've made peace with eliminating?
Okay. So it would be the amount of negativity that I allowed to occupy my time.
Yeah. It takes up time and thinking. I have one more question.
Okay.
And that is, if you could add one non-negotiable to your weekly rhythm, what would that be?
Oh, one non-negotiable.
Right. And I'm pouncing this on you. You actually didn't know I was going to ask that. So
okay.
So that's what's fair is that I can answer it first if you want.
No, I can do this because it's something that I keep. Once I stopped teaching, I stopped exercising because I wasn't getting up as early.
Right.
And so I think if I were to do something, I would dedicate 20 to 30 minutes of my day every day, getting up, doing stretches, doing calisthenic type exercises. I mean, I've even subscribed to these chair yoga exercises.
Wow.
And I'm thinking, well, Come on, fat boy, you can do this.
Don't be negative.
Thank you. So, Mr. Slightly Overweight Guy,
sure,
you can you can do this. So I think that, because I always, we've talked about this. I know this, that it makes me feel better.
Yes.
I can get up and down off the floor easier. So
I think for me, it's the same. Right.
Okay.
I would say exercise. I used to do 3 miles a morning all the time. I used to talk about that when you were at work.
Yeah.
And you walked as well in the morning. I haven't done that for a long time because I was in that program. I was taking up the time. I was worried about things in the morning. I mean, it was just stuff. So I think that, and I don't want to call it a resolution, right? Because we're beyond that in the year. But I think a non-negotiable for me would be to get up and spend an hour doing that.
Well, then, what do you say we wrap this up and let's go for a walk?
Yeah, I mean, that's a great idea. And I'm going to try to do it daily. So anyway, I just wanted to talk about time today. I think it's a great thing to reflect on as we're still at the beginning of the year, and think about, what kind of small changes can we make that would be beneficial to both us and those that we love around us. So, hopefully it's beneficial.
Well, yes.
We'll report back on our exercise activities.
All right.
That's all I got.
Well, then we are out of time. So until next time, I'm Rod.
I'm Scott.
See you later.
Bye-bye.